I was going to say, we're going to do that again. Let's do that again.
Yeah, I know, right? Good morning.
Well, welcome. I haven't seen Kim in forever. It's been like 2 weeks.
I know. And my dog
That's
is saying good
crazy.
morning to you too. It's the first time I've done the show from home in like a year.
I know it's been a while. It's been a while. But welcome everybody to the Connect Show. My name is Tracy Champagne, and today we're happy to be here with you on the Connect Show. And we're talking all about our mental fitness. You know, there's physical fitness and all sorts of health things related around fitness, but I don't know. Do many people think about their mental fitness? I mean, I think about like habits and goals, but maybe not so much fitness. So this should be an eye-opening day, I think. And introducing my partner in crime, Kim Beck.
Hello, hello, hello. I have missed you. Hopefully, we'll see you in person soon enough. My name is Kim Knock, and my business is Opportunities Knocking. And today we're super happy to have guest William Deck and special segments from Heike Heeman, who has been a guest host on the show and also a guest. So we're super looking forward to having these conversations today.
And as always, we love to start our show out by thanking our fantastic partners. The Connect Show every Tuesday at 10 a.m. on all your social media is brought to you by Connect Media Live, helping businesses reach their audiences through social media, video, and web development. So it's time to embrace moving from one to many. Visit connectmedia.live for more information.
We always have to thank our hosting sponsor, Expansive Workspace, which today we're not broadcasting from, but John lives there, so he's there somewhere, I'm sure, editing videos, doing something fun and crazy. We broadcast out of the Wauwatosa location in Wisconsin. There is also a location in Madison and downtown Milwaukee, and I believe 42 other locations throughout the country. If you are interested in Expansive, go to expansive.com.
Yeah, lots of expansives. And we are very thankful that you have come to watch today's show. We think connecting is a huge key to building small business. So please tell your friends about our show. And if you have a topic that we should be discussing, please email us at ideas@theconnectshow.com.
We are back from a week off from the 4th of July. I hope everybody had a safe and fun Independence Day. I ran the city of St. Francis July 4th for the whole city, got the band, got food trucks. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy day, but fun. My daughter's birthday is the 5th, and I love to say, how many moms can give you over $7,000 in fireworks on your birthday?
No.
I can do that. So I
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh.
I know. And she gets a band and all of the crafts and activities and whatever else. So it's a really good time. So
Yeah, and you have a huge hand in putting that all together. So it's like you literally are giving it to her.
I literally am giving it to her. She gets a parade, fireworks, music, and an all-day event at the park. Plus she gets a birthday party on top of it. I should probably reconsider that.
Well, we had a pretty quiet 4th of July. I mean, it wasn't really quiet on the lake. Everybody was shooting off fireworks and stuff like that, but it was a beautiful day to be on the lake. So that was a pretty exciting 4th of July for us. And it fell on a Tuesday, or was it a Wednesday? It was a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I feel like everybody took off that whole week. It was like everybody I was trying to contact, nobody was around. They were gone that whole week. So then it was like, oh, I guess I can relax a little bit longer.
Yes, ma'am.
So remember, everyone, that the Connect Show is better when it's interactive. So please add your comments in the chat. We'll bring them up and we'll add them to our conversation because we can see what you guys are posting. So please comment in the chat. This is a great opportunity to get expert advice, help your business grow, and connect with new people to add to your network.
Absolutely. And we are all volunteers here at the Connect Show. If you like the show, you want to get involved, email us at ideas@theconnectshow.com. We have to thank everybody that's involved. When we're in studio, we have makeup consultations, the videographers, everyone helps out for free. We have emails that go out, those are done. So thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone that is involved volunteering. I have to say,
Mhm.
by running the 4th of July, volunteers are so hard to come by. No one wants to do anything for free. So when you have volunteers, it is extremely important to be very thankful for what you have. So thank you
Yes.
to everyone.
Yes. I agree. Totally agree with that.
Mhm.
And we can go on to our quote of the day, which is the quote that I used at my network, because we go to this networking event some Tuesday mornings. They fall right before the show, and they have a question that they ask you when you're doing your little 1 minute intro. And today's question is, what is one of your favorite quotes or sayings? So I figured it just worked really well as to put it in today's quote. And something that always crosses my mind when I'm starting to freak out, which happens sometimes, I say to myself, this too shall pass. And then I think it will totally just pass.
It
If I,
does.
and I can make it pass faster if I pay less attention to the thing.
I love that. I love that. I mean, every day is a new day. It's so hard sometimes to get over the mental hurdle of what you're going through right at that moment. Like
Mhm.
sometimes it's just like, oh, I'm never going to get through this. But guess what? You're going to wake up tomorrow and you got through it. And it's such a simple quote, but it's
Mhm.
just as powerful as it is simple. So I think
Yeah.
it is great.
Yeah. So, and I think it also works for like not negative things, but positive things too. Like it helps
Mhm.
to remind you that this great, amazing moment that you're having right now is not going to be around here forever. So totally be grateful for it and appreciate it and be in the moment of it.
Oh, I love how you just spun that on a positive.
Hmm.
Most people do not use that quote for a positive. So I love how
Right.
you did that. That was
Yeah.
great. Everybody
Bec-
looks at it like, oh God, this will pass. We'll get over it. But oh no, I don't want this moment to pass. I love that.
right. Yeah.
Thank you
So
for
pay attention
breaking
to
my
all the good things that are happening too, because those are going to pass away too.
yeah,
So it's not just the bad things that are going to pass, but like all the moments pass. So if they're
absolutely.
good ones, put them in like your memory bank so you don't forget them.
Heck yeah. I love it.
So let's get this party started today with our question of the day. So, our question of the day is, what do you do for mental fitness? Exercises for your brain? Like crossword puzzles?
Candy Crush.
That's what I first think of when I think of that.
Honestly, more work, more busyness. I don't know that that's really a good mental fitness. I think I bury myself deeper, to be honest with you, to just get out of I think I'm getting out of my own way and I'm making it worse. So, I'm excited to like hear some tips and tricks to maybe there's definitely some tips out there that I can use cuz
Yeah,
I'm all
and
over
what
it.
exactly is mental fitness? Like I get what physical fitness is, but
Mhm.
is it like doing something repetitively so your brain stays healthy?
I don't
Like
know.
you could do repetitive things and it would make it not healthy. Like what if you repetitively thought of toxic things?
Exactly. Exactly. I think well, I mean, you know what I like is lately we've been getting more into or we're more open to talk about like mental health and mental health with business and all that stuff and it's so taboo sometimes to talk about it, but I think this mental fitness is going to really help elaborate on that and just go right where we're going and staying away from being afraid to talk about it and let's work through it. I love.
Yeah,
I love.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
do any brain exercises?
I mean, I I don't I don't know, but if there's some out there, I think I'd like to know about them because is it just like to prevent Alzheimer's or is it like things to help you remember things? Like what exactly is mental fitness? I really need that question answered first.
Well, guess what? I think that it's going to be answered and we have Cassandra is in the chat. It looks like she might not have her video on. She was going to
Mm,
do a little segment about mental fitness, but she said there are things you can do to move between the areas of the brain to get more done in less time. I like that. More done, less time.
Mm.
And Heike says she thinks it's a combination of memory skills, problem solving, and more. Mm, 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 mm.
Mm-mm-mm.
So we are going to, I think, move on, right?
Yep.
You're going to have to
To our
tell me where
guest,
we're at with this one because it looks like Cassandra.
Cassandra. Does Cassandra want to come on without her video to talk about mental fitness?
Let's give it a try. Let's
Okay.
see if she's got sound.
Okay, can you hear me?
We sure can.
I do not know why this says unable to access camera. I don't
Oh
know
boy.
what to do.
Okay. That's okay. We can hear you really good though.
Okay, so one of the things that I've been studying since the first of the year is how to work with trauma patients with neurotrauma work. So a lot of it is organizing how the brain works from the frontal part of your brain where your forehead is. That would be like the executive center where we think and make decisions. And then the top of the part is the imagination where we can get scared and caught up in cycles of, oh my gosh, I got so much to do. And then to work with the part of the brain that's under the temples called the salient. So that's where things get organized and we start to make decisions about things very easily. So learning how to breathe differently, yawn and stretch when you get scared or have trauma memories coming up, how to do that and change the patterning there so that you're moving. You can get caught up in the imagination center at the top of the head and you forget to think things through. So it's breathing. Sometimes you use soothing touch, but it's a way to work through. So each part of the brain, you learn to move through each of those three very easily from one to the other. So you can make decisions better. You can process things easier. And it changed the patterning of the actual neuron connectivity where the axons are and they connect and fire. So you're repatterning that. So you get, even though you're always going to probably, if you have trauma, have some fears, you can learn to go, oh, I recognize that and move through that easier with breath and relaxation. And that helps your brain then work more actively. You can get less done in more time. And I've found it really, really has changed things for me in the last probably 2 months doing these exercises that I've been learning. So I've been actually adding it to my practice with my clients. And it's amazing to see the change, even people who've been with me like 5 years or so, how they're experiencing and feeling more confident and feeling really empowered to figure things out and be able to move through some of this much differently. So I'm learning it through the Loyola Maryland Executive MBA. The person who taught that was Dr. Waldman. So he has literature out there. So he teaches this to lay people to be able to do this process. And he's a neuropsychologist. So it's been really fun because I have so much history in doing brain scans on patients when I was in the medical field. So I really get what's happening. It's different. It's fun. It's easy.
I like that you said it's easy. I don't know about much for the brain that's easy. So
Yeah,
great
well,
insight.
yeah, very easy. And I can teach it in 5 minutes and the clients can do it on their own. And it just works well. So we use a bell, like to ding a bell, but you can put the bell app on your phone, set it for every 20 minutes is optimal. And then you do the breathing work and the stretching, and it really makes a difference.
Very
Wow, that's very deep.
right. Thank you for the insight, Cassandra.
Sure.
Appreciate having you on. Wish we could see you, but that's okay. Your voice is just as great. So thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some interesting. I wouldn't have thought that mental fitness would have had to do with that kind of stuff. I was always thinking it had to do more of like with a thought but I suppose the way you're breathing and that contributes to how you're thinking. I guess it's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like when people get nervous, they start breathing faster, or, like you can absolutely see a physical change in people's bodies. So obviously that's where your brain is going. So very, very cool. And it's amazing to know somebody that can help you through that. So thank you.
Should we bring on our guest today?
Absolutely. I will bring him on after we're done with the bio. Go right ahead.
All right. So I'm going to introduce our guest today. His name is William Deck. He's an executive coach, corporate consultant, and inspirational speaker that values integrity, transparency, and accountability. With over 10 years of experience in working development, corporate training, and sales leadership, William is committed to helping organizations and their teams therein identify and remove any self-limiting beliefs that could impede their growth and long-term success. For this reason, he understands that transformational change can only be achieved by identifying the root cause of personal and organizational dysfunction. Using real-world examples, William sheds light on the power of the subconscious mind and the value of developing one's mental fitness.
William believes that through the proper use of one's thoughts, feelings, and imagination, we can become the conscious creator of our life circumstances. Therefore, he understands and has proven that personal empowerment leads to organizational empowerment and success over time. William is passionate about sharing his message of self-love and healing with the world, which is why his tagline states, people and organizations don't need motivation, they need transformation. In his free time, William enjoys yoga and traveling with his wife, Lauren, son, William, and daughter, Sophia. We're bringing him on up. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here today.
So, in your business, what is mental fitness mean to you?
Yeah. So from our perspective, mental fitness means a heightened level of personal awareness that leads to mental and emotional healing. Because for the most part, if we knew better, we would do better, right? And so the things that we don't know can also be held against us, whether it's in life or whether it's just in our own head. And so taking that concept and idea and saying, how did that apply to the larger experience that we have in life based on our own perceptions? And what can we do to improve those perceptions? Because as our attitude and mindset shift and improves and becomes more positive, we have an opportunity to really open up worlds or life's opportunities. And that's what we try to help organizations and once again, the individuals therein, the team members, to be able to see that for themselves so that they can be inspired to take action because adults do what they want to do, not necessarily what they're told, even though that's what we'd like to think. And so just kind of understanding that being in corporate, nonprofit, workforce development, doing a lot of coaching, consulting, training, picked up on the patterns and what the truth was as far as some of these issues. And there's always a root cause because if you're eating the fruit of something, that means that there's roots that go deep into the ground. And so if you want to change the fruit that you're receiving or eating in life, you have to obviously change the roots. And sometimes you need to be uprooted. So that's why we kind of started this journey, just knowing that there was a huge need in the marketplace for people to get out of their own head and to be able to change their heart so that they can be the best version of themselves over time. And I went through the journey, and I'll talk about that later, but my own personal journey kind of speaks to that. And then when I saw other people needed exactly what I needed in my toughest times, the decision to make it a business was pretty simple.
That's beautiful. How can you so can you give us some more examples maybe about how my mental fitness will impact my life?
Most definitely. So I think first and foremost, when we talk about mental fitness, there's two kind of key ideas. The first idea is that we must believe that we deserve all the good that this life has to offer. And the reason why I say it in that way is that if we have limitations of what we believe we deserve, we tend to manifest that in our life. So deservedness is a huge piece, right? Even before you get there, right? Being able to see yourself there and not just seeing yourself doing it, but being worthy to stay there and to live that experience out and then go to a higher level in the future, right? And then another key area when it comes to mental fitness is forgiveness. There are so many of us who are holding on to unforgiveness. Many times it starts in childhood. We may be unforgiving of other people, ourselves, not letting go of certain situations that happen that have since passed. Sometimes we are in our imagination thinking about what could happen and already building up some anxiety or unforgiveness based on what we perceive to be coming next. But forgiveness, there's an old quote that says, unforgiveness is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. So many of us have been poisoning the water of our future and our present because we haven't letting certain things go, which means we have energy trapped in the past,
Yes.
which ultimately is keeping us from having our full mental presence, psychological presence in the right here and the right now, which is the only place that we can affect. We can't change the past and we can't force the future. We can only be in the present moment and take action now, right? Or just an attitude now. And so unforgiveness keeps us from doing the key thing. And one of the key things are actions or behaviors that are required to be able to allow the goodness to flow in. Because ultimately we don't go out and achieve things just because we not grabbed it. It's because we have taken the opportunity to get out of the way of life and we retract it or magnetize it into our life, right? So we don't need to force, we actually attract. That's how we make these changes or draw in new opportunities and new people and situations, but that is a vibration which starts here. And also it's in the physical and psychological heart, if you will. But it's definitely, the first guest was kind of talking about some, the idea that it's a physical reality. It actually is, but it starts in the psychological realm. So it's really all that and more. But mental fitness is about building that level of awareness, saying, what can I do to impact who I am now? And focus on the controllables, right? And be able to then have the mental and emotional fortitude to also take action, right? Because one thing to be aware, but we have to take the action in order to bring it into our reality, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the action is to do nothing because we always want to do things to try to force things. But once again, we do not force, we attract.
I think that's the hardest part. Like I hear I find people that hold on to grudges or hold on to past ups. I find that those people very, very exhausting. So they're also dragging on my mental health because they're holding on to something. And I feel like it's so exhausting. So
Yeah.
I really felt that when you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, because any negative vibration, right? It's a slower vibrating, lower density. And so it's easier to, well, it's not easier to, but you tend to feel it when it's like a weight on your shoulder or just feel like something like dragging you down, like towards the center of the earth, or it's a heaviness on your chest, right? Or it's tightness in your shoulders. We can call that stress or anxiety, but it's overall letting you know physically, from a physical perspective, that a negative vibration or whatever the negative vibration is the dominant state of being, right? Here and here. When we have those positive emotions, it feels uplifting. It's burst of energy. It's excitement. It's positivity. It's all things good, and that tends to bring us up. Get us more alert, get us inspired to take action. But the equal but opposite, both exist and both are necessary. But we can mentally or psychologically pick it up, but also our body does, and that vibration is picked up, and that's why, as you mentioned, like when someone negative comes into the room, you don't have to know they're having a bad day. You can feel their heaviness when they walk into the room, right?
Absolutely.
Or the exact opposite. And that's something natural to who we are because we are first and foremost a vibration, right? Before we get to the physical side, it's all about a vibration or science kind of is identified as intelligent light that is coming to the physical form. And now we are living out our lives and having to make decisions all the time, but there's so many distractions. And so building your mental fitness helps you to begin to also, over time, by building awareness, understand and be able to discern what is major and what is minor. The minor stuff, you let that flow off your back, flow off a duck's back. And then the major, the things that you need to be focusing on to be able to put that mental, emotional energy and creativity into to bring forth is what you tend to focus on most. It's not perfect, but once again, what is the dominant vibration, the dominant focus, the dominant intent that you set every single day, right? And hopefully I have an opportunity to talk about that because it's very important how we start our day to kind of help to set that tone before all the negativity and the other people's problems flow in and begin to try to distract you. And that's what a successful life is: the ability to focus more so than being just distracted or drifting down some river that's taking you nowhere. That's the fundamental difference.
So how is it that you're starting your mornings? What
Mhm.
Can you give us some tips on how we can start our morning so we can stay more focused?
100%. The first thing that I do when I wake up is that I have 2 affirmations that I speak. I have my goals written down, so my goals are kind of already in my head. So I used to kind of read those out loud, but after the first couple months of the year, like you already know what they are. So my affirmations that are just standard. Number one, I got this from she's a famous speaker and author. Her name is Louise Hay,
Mhm.
and the affirmation is every day and in every way, my life is getting better and better. And I said that a few times first thing in the morning. And then another affirmation, just from a faith background, is this is the day that the Lord has made. I shall rejoice and be glad in it. And just repeat that over and over again to remember that this day isn't just mine for me and what I want to achieve. And I'm very competitive and determined and business thinking and strategic, but all those are just words. First and foremost, fundamentally, this day is the Lord's day, which means I have an opportunity to do something better and it's not my own. And so, yes, I have things to get done, but it's also how can I be thinking about or taking actions to do something good for someone else? Not just because I want to be, righteous or, no, it's just like there's opportunity out there. It could be holding the door for someone. It could be sending a note to someone on LinkedIn or following up, or you know, someone that I know is going through something, checking in with them, being present with my children in the morning. Like it can be a million different things, but when you do good things for others, that actually makes you feel good. And so to be able to have that attitude, which I ultimately just quantify as an attitude of gratitude, it's not just what I'm thinking, but it's what I'm seeing here, and then taking action on those things. So it can be any area of my life, but it just helps to remind me and saying this day is not just for me what I need to get done. It's to spread light, to spread good, because there's enough negativity and foolishness out here. So I'd rather not be a part of that. Just do the opposite, and that tends to just open up doors in ways that you can't really explain, but the attitude of gratitude is a powerful thing and it empowers beautiful action that just makes this world a better place. And if I can be a part of that and be intentional about that, I always seem to find what you're seeking for, right? So
Mhm.
that's just really what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Does that kind of thing then that mindset, does that help you get through some of those hidden resentments or whatever it is that you're holding on to that's holding you? Because I always get confused about that. Like, how do you even know if you're holding on to some past resentment? Maybe you don't even know that you are.
So a lot of people don't know, or they don't know to the depth or the extent to which they are holding on to things. So the only way to be able to allow that deeply rooted subconscious um, hurt, resentment, unforgiveness, right? Is to be able to slow down and be still a little bit. So me taking roughly 10 minutes in the morning, I usually get up 3 to 4 days a week and go to the gym, so I can also have a little bit of time at the gym. To just be able to be with myself and be in my own thoughts is very, very important. Many of the answers that we're seeking are within us, and all the most important answers to our most important questions are within us. No one can give these answers to you. I don't care how wide they are, even your mentor, your parents, they are not you, and they can't tell you what you need to do or what the answer is. So, taking time to be still, whether it's doing my affirmations, because it only takes a couple minutes, and then I usually do maybe just like a short meditation for maybe 5 or so minutes. What that does is allows ultimately what the experience is, it's like allowing the divine inspiration or the issues or the root cause of why I'm feeling this way, and it's just something I have been able to shake. It tends to bubble up during those quiet times. So you can't force it, because remember, if you're forcing anything in life, it's like having a hose and then you're kinking a hose to try to make the water come out faster, but you're actually slowing down the flow. When you slow down enough to be able to allow things to flow, slow down your thoughts, take some deep breaths, do your affirmations, any or all of those things, these questions and answers begin to bubble up. And so a lot of times we maybe have dealt with something for a few weeks, and then in a quiet time, we may not get to a week later, and we're just breathing and relaxing, doing affirmations, speaking to ourselves in a positive way, whatever we decide to do. then the answer to that question comes up. The reason why this has been going on is because boom, boom, boom. And it's a flash of inspiration or insight. And that's usually where it comes from. Because what I found was many years early on in my early 20s, trying to find all the answers and trying to know things, know things, know things. I was kinking the holes and it was making it so much harder to receive the answers because sometimes you're inspired to go and read a book. I mean, there's a million ways that this can come to you, but the answer is always found in your quiet time and it's hard to perceive. I know what you're saying. It's hard to perceive this because our mind wants to know, and there's ways that we've been taught to learn and to figure things out and to study, but we have to go beyond the thinking mind to get the deeper answers. And that's really what it's all about. So hopefully that gives you a couple of examples of what it looks like experientially, but it's something that we can't touch with our hands, we can't taste with our mouth, we can't see with our eyes. It's deep within us. And that deeper part of who we are is who is where we came from and is where we're going back to without trying to make a religious statement. It's just a reality. Because if you ever been to a funeral, you looked in that casket, whoever that person was, you can look at that physical form and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to make it about a certain way of belief. It is a um, a self evident truth, right?
Yeah.
So that's where all the answers are. And so when we have questions, if we go back to the source, I know that's a more popular term now, but it's true. We go back to the source, all the answers that we could ever need are there. All the solutions, all the abundance, all the healing, all good things are there. And the negativity is on the outside because we're operating within a world that is set up to be confusing and to operate and dominate those who are confused. Because once you know, you can never unknow. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's really the fundamental difference. It's getting into a place of knowing and not thinking, hoping, wishing, hypothesizing. I don't care what the science, the mathematics, this goes beyond all that. That's in the 3D physical form. But the solutions that we have are way deep down within us, and we can't do some kind of surgery and go inside and find it. But it's deep within us because it's in that invisible, eternal side that all this is coming from, and it's part of our life journey. But it's hard to see that because we're not taught to look at life as a journey. Life is, climbing up the corporate ladder and this and that. And what happens? 95% of us, or actually probably close to 97, 98%, fall down the ladder halfway up, lose courage, identify with our jobs and our stuff and our things, and then life happens and the eternal side to it needs to be activated, and we don't know how to do it. So we
Mm-hmm.
just freak out and think that we're done, our life is over, what they think about us, none of that actually matters. When you can step back, you realize none of that actually matters. And once it's no longer important to you, it no longer has a hold on you, and you become unstoppable because now you know. So that's the ultimate idea of like the movies, the Matrix, and things like that. Is just breaking out of the Matrix, breaking out of the limited belief of what is possible and what is real, and realizing that the realest part of us is the unseen internal secret power that we have within us to be able to make our own decisions, to build our own confidence and speak to ourselves and tell us that we're good enough and that we're worthy, to be able to not have to be in person with someone if not possible, to be able to forgive them or for them to change. Because we realize when we change, our life changed, the paradigm, the entire structure of our lives changes. And science actually backs this up.
Right.
So that's a deeper element of mental fitness that says that we are the conscious creators, not the only one. We are not the all in all and trying to go off the deep end. I'm saying, but we are sparking the one flame of life. And so if life shows us this unlimited creative power, if you travel and go see places like how in the hell these rock formations and this is impossible. Actually, it's not because in the infinite mind, right, infinite intelligence, all things are possible. And we're just tapping into that and saying, I'm just taking a small sliver out of that, not what it was for someone else, but what's for me. And understanding with all that, and during that process of just going deeper within yourself, you begin to realize that your life vision is larger than you ever could have imagined. And ultimately, um, the true life vision that we have must be a vision that will live live beyond our lifetime, even if we were to be 100 years old. It's something that you can't do on your own, and it will live beyond our lifetime. That's when you know that it's an eternal or a life calling.
Mm.
We don't come here to play small.
That's
Mental fitness.
unbelievable. That's amazing. I'm all over the place here. Can you tell? I think we could talk about this forever. There is so much just in this little segment that I just was able to take out of that. I appreciate you joining us on the show today. And if any of our viewers, both watching now or later, let me look if we have anything in the chat. Oh, we had William Sonoma say something and Emily fell. So William Sonoma was talking about Cassandra. Emily said hi to everybody. But on the other note, we have a website or a page on our website for you if anyone would like to connect and dive deep into this topic, theconnectshow.com/William Deck. Thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have any special offers or events that you'd like to share with our audience?
So we're actually in the process of creating an online community. So more to come with that because we'll be going live early in the fourth quarter. So just kind of give a little tidbit there. I would say if you go to our website, www.mindbusinessllc.com, that's MIND businessllc.com. We have some new offerings that we're currently making available. We have a new Leadership Mindset Academy that has its own tab under services. And we're having a lot of success with employers and really working to build up the emerging leader population within organizations. So I think that's really the most important thing right now with a lot to come is our Leadership Mindset Academy. So you can go to our website, click on the services tab and learn more about it. And we love working with organizations of all sizes, anywhere from 10,000 plus to under 50. We've done it all. So that's the only thing I'd like to share today. Also, if you wouldn't mind following us on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as Instagram at william.b.deck and also at Mind Business LLC. We're always posting new content and talking about ideas like this. And we have some exciting things coming there too, but you'll see when you join. So just thank you for your time and the opportunity to connect.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was great to have you on. I'm very intrigued by a lot of the stuff that you've talked about. I'm going to check out your website more and see what you're up to.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
So next up, I think we have Heike. Heike is going to take a stab at doing her own segment every week on giving us some LinkedIn tips, which I'm pretty excited about because who does not need more LinkedIn tips? Everybody needs them.
Exactly. Let's let Heike have the floor.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So since this is the first of these segments, I figured we'll start with the basics and some myths about LinkedIn. A lot of people think that LinkedIn is just for job seekers or it's just for people who are sales reps. It's one or the other. And the sales reps are the ones that are just going to spam your inbox. However, LinkedIn has a lot to offer for pretty much anyone in a career, but especially for entrepreneurs. And that's obviously where this show fits in. So first of all, I want to step back and talk about your personal brand. People like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if somebody refers you, that's fantastic. But if you're looking for a service and you don't have a referral right now, but you're doing research online, you may very well come up with somebody's LinkedIn profile. And that really needs to be set up so that you get to know the person, like them, and trust them. And LinkedIn has various ways of helping an entrepreneur do that. First of all, there is your profile, but then you can also, in addition to that, set up a free company page. And that could be, especially when you're just starting out, your personal business website until you are up and running. Because obviously, for starters, LinkedIn is going to get a little more traffic than a brand new website. And beyond that, LinkedIn has opportunities for you to network. And there I like to combine in-person networking, which still is probably the best way to network, with online. The combination is incredibly powerful. So you want to, for instance, have your LinkedIn profile URL, just kind of like your web address for your personal profile, in your email signature, and connect with people on LinkedIn after connecting with them in real life. We had a networking event this morning where some of us met a whole bunch of new people, and we set up one-to-one meetings, but then it helps to get them connected on LinkedIn, because you don't know, of all those people you meet, who's going to make a career change. And yet you may have a bunch of business cards sitting on your desk, but if these people have changed companies, all of a sudden you don't know how to get a hold of them. So LinkedIn can be a mini CRM, if you will, to keep track of people changing professional identities. It's a great place also to do research, no matter if that's research on competitors or research on potential clients. You can find a ton of information on research. And the other part of the research you can do is expertise that maybe you as a business owner need more of. So let's say your business is growing and you are ready to start hiring a team. Well, maybe you want to follow a recruiter who posts about the right way to recruit a candidate, how to interview a candidate. So research and information is a great place. It's a great place for learning in a more formal sense as well, because you can actually take courses on LinkedIn. And the neat thing is, if you take a course on LinkedIn, it will populate into the courses and education section of your profile. So it adds to the credibility, the trust factor of your profile. Of course, yes, it can help you find a job. And a lot of people start their entrepreneurial life while holding a job. So you could be in a job search mode while being an entrepreneur. Or maybe there's been a lull in your entrepreneurship and you need to temporarily get a job. So it doesn't matter from which side you start. But yes, absolutely, the job searching part is definitely one of LinkedIn's strong suits. You can find candidates there. You can find vendors there. You can find opportunities to be on shows like this, or a just audio only podcast. Some people are far enough in their career where they really want to give back in a bigger sense of the word. So they may want to be on a board of directors for a nonprofit. Well, you can find openings for that. So there is a lot of potential on LinkedIn that is often underrated by people that haven't really done any research on how can they make this platform work for them. So it's great, yes, for job searchers, but for entrepreneurs on a variety of aspects of their entrepreneurial journey, from finding clients to vendors to other opportunities, speaking opportunities. That's a great way to publicize your business. If you have a way to give a presentation and share your expertise in a business community with associations, with chambers, etc. So I would recommend doing some searching of your own name to see what comes up. And if your LinkedIn comes up and the profile doesn't really speak to your future client, then it's time to work on that. And with that, I will just add that two things that LinkedIn is not for, like any platform, the whole set it and forget it. You can have the best profile in the world, but if you don't show up, eventually LinkedIn is not going to bring you up in search, because they're going to assume you've abandoned your profile. So you have to come back. And the other part is just talking about yourself. Any social media platform, but especially LinkedIn, you do not want to self-promote more than a maximum of 20% of the time. The rest of the time should be talking about things of general interest for your client base. So that is my intro into LinkedIn on this first session, and I'm turning it back over to our team of Kim and Tracy.
Amazing. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Heike.
Yeah.
I
That's such
love
good information.
LinkedIn
It's
tips.
always good reminder to pay attention to your LinkedIn.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I need to pay a little more attention to mine. It's been a little while. I'm too worried about all the clients stuff and don't even pay any attention to mine. So what can I do?
I get that. It's easy to do.
So thank you so much. We can bring everyone up that is in here and finalize out the show with the whole team on if they'd like to rejoin. So let's have a party. And we'll bring
Yay.
Cassandra on just with her vocals. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And here we go. All right.
I really enjoyed that deep dive that William did. And I found it very interesting to talk about the quiet time. And I tie that into, the time in the shower when an idea popped into your head, or really focusing on some kind of problem right before you go to bed and then waking up with the solution. That too is part of that subconscious mind that can help you out.
Because some of us, that's the only time we allow ourselves quiet time is in the shower.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then,
Right, right.
some people can't, they have to have a radio going or something in the shower. They can't even give themselves that 15 minutes of quiet. And we all wonder, why can't I sleep at night? Well, because you gave yourself no time to think about every single thing that happened to you throughout the whole day, So
yeah, and sometimes it's just about, taking the lunch away from your desk, or not having the radio on in the car for 5 minutes.
I was just going to say, I've been doing that more and more. Yeah. In the car, not having the radio on. And it's just becoming more and more like automatic. Like I just need this time to transition in my brain.
Right. Exactly. Those pauses are very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think another term for it is giving yourself permission. Anything that we receive in life, we have at some level given ourselves permission to have it or to experience it, good, bad, or indifferent. And there's really only two sides, positive and negative outcomes, right? Positive, negative emotions, experiences. It's really not, to me, I'm learning that good and bad is less real. It's really more about positive and negative outcomes. And so when I see it that way, it's easier to make good decisions because what's the positive outcome or negative outcome of it? And I can just accept it for what it is and usually make a good decision. But once again, usually we're just doing things on autopilot from a subconscious perspective, which dominates 95% of our waking hours, that we're just running off of programs and we don't necessarily get outside of it to make new decisions. And that's where the creativity and the expansion happens. And it's hard to do that unless you pull out of it.
So
yeah. And then to reprioritize, because we all get into a rut with our daily routines. And maybe it's time to kick one of those routines out and replace it with a new one. But in order to do that, you really need to spend some time with yourself in that thinking mode.
Is Cassandra?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay. Do you have anything to add at all?
I think too, one of the other things in that quiet time that's really helped me a lot too as well is taking a particular area of my life and just thinking about the values for that. So what's my values in my workplace? What's the values with my personal care? What's my values with my children? And just sit with that in that quiet time and get real clear on that. Then it makes it easier to make decisions in business, time management, those kinds of things. When I'm feeling scattered and anxious, if I come back to just breathing, taking, a minute or two and say, okay, what was the value when I entered this? What was my value? And then it's easier to go, okay, now I know what I want to do.
Right.
That's good. Well, I want to thank everybody for helping out today. And thanks for everybody for coming on the show, our guest hosts, our regular hosts, our people behind the scenes. And next week, our show is going to have, actually, it's supposed to have Jake Reich. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but I think it's going to be his wife. And they are a wife and husband team. So that'll be an interesting, they're all about fitness. And Jody Kay will be joining us next week also. And I believe we should be back in studio. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Also, if you are watching our show after the fact, please still comment. We see them all. We're happy to have you share the videos. We are live every single week on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm going to always say LinkedIn first because Heike is going to promote the heck out of it, right? It's going to make her so happy. But if you see it, if you feel that there's anyone that could be benefit from any segment on this journey, please share it, like, subscribe. This little act goes a long way to help our community grow and get these business owners out in action in front of the people that need it. So thank you so much. And we'll see you next week at 10 a.m. Same time, same place. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You have a good one.
Thank you.
We just got to get to the close. Sorry. I'm not producer John. We need producer John back. Here we go.